Yes. Om
Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kradita Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Vedashini Bhagavati Ashtadashavyayini Ambatvamam Santatavi Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Appa has to keep yourself on mute. There's a lot of background noise.
yeah, correct.
Okay. We have to read.
Let us look at the meditation of Karma Yogi, Saguna Brahma Upasana, page 150, 160.
Different book. This is different book.
See, there was a requirement like you are telling no that what is like lot 12 chapter we have to go through this again. Okay, I will just tell you, just listen to it, and then we will go ahead. Now, what is Arjuna's question is between the sannyasis and yogis, who is superior? It was his question. Okay, and that which Bhagavan is explaining, and also Shankara as well as Swamiji are explaining. Okay. Now, what he says is basically, I will just tell you how they are proceeding. See, he has made it very clear. One who pursues Paramatma is Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha Santaha. Santaha meaning jnanis, basically. That is up to 1 to 4. He is describing those. We are still in that stage only. We are describing the Santaha. So that we will exclude them for discussion, for comparison. They are not comparable. They are me. Bhagavan has said, Atmai, Jnanitu Atmaiva me matam, which he has told earlier also. Okay. So such people of compassion, they reach me. Of course, they still pursue Jnanam only, in the sense they are in that Nishtha. Okay. But, Kintu, he is now going to talk about the other people for comparison. Kleshaha diha. In the sense, one person whose mind is in doubt and dukkam, whatever you call it, very relatively or very seriously dukkam, whatever it may be, those who cannot get rid of, I will just, whatever I made, I will just read it out so that you can keep in mind. Those who cannot get rid of this deha atma buddhi, those who cannot neutralize raga dveshas, if they try to understand aham nirgunam brahma, it will be not possible. It is dukkha only. Okay. So what he is going to suggest is they have to do a lot of karma yoga and do whatever they are supposed to do. In the sense, yetu sarvani karmani starts with in the 6th and 7th sloka. Then mayaiva mana adachva, put their mind in me. That is in the 12.8. Then that is Parameshwara. Mayeva mayi buddhim niveshaya. That is what he is advising them. And then in the 9th verse, he is going to say they should follow Ashtanga Yoga, meaning Yama Niyama, what he has described earlier, that in the 6th chapter, Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, even he must eat adequately, he must sleep adequately, etc., etc. Okay, Ashtanga Yoga. Make yourself ready. Gain Chitta Samadhanam, Shanti, relative Shanti. And then come to Jnanam and follow it up with Jnanam. If you are not ready, if suppose you are not able to do all that Yama, Niyama and all that, you are being in the sea, you are not able to do it, then perhaps for them they can take Karma Sannyasa Karma sannyasa meaning you will just pursue only knowledge, do Ashtanga yoga, get mentally ready, acquire jnanam, and then you can say yoga also. Yoga doesn't keep to yoga and complete, you leave out all other karma, only yoga, make yourself ready. Then mam aptum icha, may you have desire to know me only, nothing else is pursued by living Ashtanga yoga. They are called karma sannyasi. But this option is not available for Arjuna. Okay, because he is already, he is not he is already having, he is in the midst of the war, he has a family, he has got a kingdom to rule and all that. That option is not available for Arjuna. So Bhagavan says karma yoga. So in the context, dhyanam visishyate, which is going to say in this, that is what he is trying to say. Like Arjuna, what he says, I will do dhyanam. Okay. There he says jnana dhyanam vishishyate is explained properly, and karma pala tyagam kuru yogam atishta means take to work. In the context, in this context, yuddham. You have to do karma, but karma pala tyagam kuru. In the sense, you don't bother about whether I win or not, but you have to do karma. Prasada buddhi and Ishwararpana buddhi you have to do. Then continuing with the flow, he says, if abhyasepi asamartosi mat karma param, he explained, no, the last in the sense, last sloka, 1155, last sloka, mat karma paramo bhava, in the sense, you can come to that stage. With antakarna shuddhi and jnanam, parampriya, you can get to that. Okay, like that he proceeds. He says, if you, because of all these options and the obstacles, the comparison is being made. You cannot compare yourself with, okay, I will become a sannyasi, then I will be able to get jnanam. No, it doesn't happen. There are a lot of things in between. There are a lot of in between steps. That is why you can compare yourself with a person who is doing karma was only with the results in mind, or you can do a karma with Ishwararpana buddhi and Prasada buddhi. So that is only option available to you at this stage. That is what he is trying to say. That is why he is established that the sannyasis who are already having all this thing, that they are already sarva bhuta hite rataha, and they are sannyasi, you can't compare yourself with them. So in that context only he is explaining. What I will do, I have completed this up to 12.12. I will send this at the end of the class. I will send this thing PDF to you, so you can have just have a look at it. 12.12 I have explained in detail, and later you will see what happens. Now, in the context up to 12.12, I have given you a briefing. Let us see how it goes. As we read it, you will get to know. Okay. So the comparison, why he says you cannot compare yourself with. They are not on the same platform. The karma sannyasi is not available for Arjuna, and as it is, he has already told sannyasasthu mahabaho dukkam aptum ayogata. Without yoga bhava. Yoga bhava meaning what? You have to do karma as yoga. Meaning what? Ishwararpana buddhi and Prasada buddhi, and with total involvement, with all the enthusiasm, you have to do what you are supposed to do, and then only you are eligible. So as of now, what you are supposed to do is yuddha. So you have to think in those terms only. You cannot say sannyasi ban jayega. No, because he says very clearly, he has already told that if you are not yogi, you will only have dukkam even in sannyasa. He is told, sannyasastu mahabhago dukkam aptum ayogata. Not only you, your people around you also will have dukkam because of you. So, sannyasastu mahabhago dukkam aptum ayogata yoga yuktaha. First you have to become yoga yukta. Yoga yukta means whatever their station in life you are, wherever you are, whatever you are, you have to do karma as yoga. Then only you become a yoga yukta. Yoga yuktaha munihi brahma. Brahma in that context is sannyasa, whatever he is asking for. Yoga yukto muni brahma nachirenadi kachati. Okay, once you are qualified, you will get it just like that. It's not very difficult. But first you have to qualify. So qualify meaning you have to do whatever you are supposed to do with karma palatyaga, karma yoga, and Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. That is what he is eventually trying to tell him, that he doesn't want him to compare himself with a sannyasi, because he thinks that sannyasi means he is a jnani, but he is not eligible as of now, he is not even a yogi. How can he become a sannyasi? That's what he is trying to say. Yeah. Let us read. Where are we? We can start with that para now. Now let us look at the meditation of a karma yogi. That is where you want to start?
Now let us
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now let us look at the meditation of a karma yogi, Saguna Brahma Upasana, which has been said to be upon the Vishwarupa. It is all very well to say this, but how are you to meditate upon Saguna Brahma? If you visualize any one thing, all the others are left out. If you think of the sun and stars, everything below them is omitted. By bringing all the objects in creation to mind one by one, you cannot think of the cosmic form. And there are so many things unknown to you, which is why you choose one form and invoke all forms in that. If you know that everything is included in the cosmic form, then that is all you need to know for Upasana. Even keeping the mind focused on one form is difficult. If you think of Vishnu's feet, it is good enough. From the head, you come to the feet and stay there. The mind does not stay there, so keeping it there is klesha. Even though there are great difficulties for the karma yogi, who is mat karma krita, who is totally committed to Bhagavan, the difficulties of those committed to the pursuit of Akshara Brahma are even greater. Kleshaha adhikataraha.
Adhikataraha. In comparison, adhikam, more. Yeah.
Kleshaha adhikataraha. Here Bhagavan uses the comparative affix tara. Identification with the body is an obstacle for Nirguna Brahma Dhyana. The affliction is even greater because they have identification with the body, Deha Abhimana. It means their Atma and Atma Viveka is not complete. Sannyasis cannot be contemplative if they lack Viveka. Without it, their pursuit will be improper because of confusion about what they are doing. Dehavat means the one who has a body. Everybody has a body. So what it means here is those who have identification with the body. For them, meditation upon Akshara Brahma is almost impossible. Meditation here means contemplation preceded by Shravana and Manana. All these become very difficult. Why is there more difficulty? Because the sannyasi is trying to give up his identification with the body. What could be more difficult? They are called Avyakta Asakta Chetasaha. Their minds are totally committed, asamantat saktam, to the pursuit of avyakta, that which is not available for objectification. They have given up the life of karma yoga and taken to a life of renunciation for the sake of Aksharam Brahma. It means they should be ready for it. If it is difficult for sannyasis to contemplate upon a self that cannot be objectified, how much more difficult will it be for karma yogis? The end they want to accomplish, Gati, is not available for objectification of Vikta. This is the Swarupa, the nature of Atma that was mentioned in Arjuna's question, Avyaktam Padyupasate. Lord Krishna has answered him using the same word, Avyakta. The ultimate end is reached, Avapyate. Bhagavan says with difficulty, Dukkham. Why is it so difficult? It is being accomplished by those who are identified with the body, Deha Vadbihi. This shows it is to be accomplished right now here. They are Brahman right now. In fact, it is not even an end that has to be accomplished. Something that is to be accomplished like climbing Mount Everest can be done with the proper equipment and effort. But here it is already an accomplished fact. The self is Brahman. It is simply a question of knowing it. The difficulty is this Deha Atma Abhimana that includes identification with the Sukshma Sharira. When there is this identification with the body, there is the notion I am a mortal and consequently the fear of death, the greatest of all fears. Whatever fears a person may have, they all pale in the face of death. Even an avowed miser will spend everything he has just to save his life. This fear of death can be reduced by a life of karma yoga, but it can go completely only when he knows for certain he is not the body, when he has no deha abhimana. Deha abhimana. Even if he has come to understand this from the Shastra, there seems to be a parallel line of thinking that has nothing to do with knowledge. This is true of any knowledge that contradicts an established pattern. Suppose you know that there is no value in getting angry. Does that ensure you will never get angry again? In spite of knowing anger comes. Who wants depression, sorrow or any other mental pain? Even with reference to simple knowledge of dharma and adharma, there are two parallel lines. Certain patterns of thinking just overwhelm your knowledge. When you have adequate awareness of what is proper and improper, why can't you not maintain that? Those patterns of thinking do not consult your wisdom, they seem to belong to another reality. This is jnana with obstructions, sapradibandhaka jnana.
Sapradibandhaka jnana. Basically what Swamiji says is one is cognitive understanding. Okay, as you listen to the class, Swamiji always used to say, when people are in the class, they are in a spell, they feel everything is very correct, what Swamiji says is very correct like that. But once they go out, all their pratibandhakas take over. They get lost in their own day-to-day because there is a parallel reality going on in your antakarna. In the sense, one is cognitive understanding, the another is your lifestyle and your habitual way of conducting your life, mechanical way of conducting your life. You are not, which is what I am always telling, that apramatta, alert living, the alertness, the inside space has to be there. Inside space meaning the cognitive understanding of God and the day-to-day vyavahara living, there should be space. In the sense, you must be able to operate from the cognitive person. There should be a space whenever you get into a situation where you have reacted or acted in a particular manner, and this person with the cognitive understanding, there should be a space. There should not be like you don't have space means what will happen is you will immediately switch over to the other mode. You will start behaving, this is academic and that is something living. So academic and living will go on. You have to bridge it by discovering that space and being alert to this and having a value for this. This understanding is the primordial fact of my life. So all my behavior and life should be in consonance with this understanding. And that should be there in every moment in your life. There should be a space wherein you can, whenever even a reaction comes to your mind, like something happens, something bad happens, you immediately say what? Then next moment, so what? Immediately you must be able to get to that mode of saying, so what? From the basis of your reality understanding. And then act accordingly. Thereafter you have to act. What is appropriate to the given situation? Maybe it may not be what you call in your like you perhaps you would not have minded facing that situation rather than acting in a manner which is if it is in your own case you would not have done that. But if it is somebody else, in order to help them, in order to feel, they make them feel comfortable, you may still, okay, you want to go to this place, Kumbh Mela, you want to go. Okay, but you feel that a lot of problems are there, you are not able to go. So what you will say? But he is very keen on going there. So what you do? Okay, let us try and plan it out and help them go there. Even though you are not with all these difficulties, you don't want to go, but still you will help the other person go. So that is the second, but you will do it deliberately with lot of deliberation, lot of alertness, rather than as a reaction to his interest or your saying no to him or something like that. All those things, like that gap, that space is very important. That is what he is trying to say, that sapradibandhaka jnana does not allow that. For that, you have to get over that sapradibandhaka by yoga. That is what he is aiming at. That is what he is saying. That is where the deha abhimana means includes mind abhimana also. Not only deha means including mind. The mind is a major problem, not even the deha. Mind is a major problem. If you can get over that abhimana, then pratibandhaka, which is working against this jnana, cognitive understanding, you can get over it. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Giving up Deha Abhimana even relatively means having an appreciation that everything belongs to Ishvara, including this body. Individual Vyasti is included in the total Samashti. Consciously relinquishing the sense of ownership, Mamatva, is the attitude of a Karma Yogi. Because of this, the Dehatma Buddhi is reduced and knowledge can be gained. If a person has no insight into the Swarupa of himself, so that his Dehatma Buddhi is complete, trying to meditate upon Aksharam Brahma is not going to help. Since it is a thing to be known, if he is not able to see this at the time of teaching, how is he going to meditate? To know that you are Brahman, you must be able to relax, suspending all notions about yourself and just expose yourself to the teaching. Only then can you say, I am Brahman, otherwise the question will remain, how can I be Brahman? Therefore, with difficulty alone, this can be accomplished by one who has identification with the body, Dehavat Bihi. What does he mean with difficulty? In fact, as long as there is identification with the body, it cannot be accomplished. Only when Deha Abhimana is completely given up does one discover identity with Brahman. It is not even something that one can give up. It's a fact that has to be known. When he says it is difficult, he means that you have to mature. That takes time. It cannot be done by will alone. Suppose a banana has to ripen, you cannot force it to do so. Given time, it will ripen by itself. You need not do anything. Similarly, the maturity required to gain this knowledge requires time and conscious living. Going through experiences with an attitude of Karma Yoga, the Deha Abhimana lessens. But it takes its own time. But from this, it is very clear why he called those Karma Yogis Yoga Vittamaha, the most exalted. Their elevation is not in their superiority, but in the propriety of their pursuit. It is not easy for people who are unprepared to contemplate all the time. In fact, it is not possible. Krishna is restating here what he said in the 5th chapter. Renunciation of action is difficult to accomplish. Arjuna without Karma Yoga. Whereas one who is capable of reasoning, who is committed to a life of Karma Yoga, gains Brahman quickly. Getting deeper. Brahman.
This is the same thing in the 5th chapter he said, but he has put 7.19. But anyway, 5th chapter meaning the same one. Yoga. What I was telling, no, sanyasastu mahabhavo dukkam aptum ayogata yoga yuktaha muni brahma nachirenadi gachati. So, yoga yuktaha, the key is yoga yuktaha, karma yoga yuktaha. That's what he means. Yeah.
Among those doing karma, the karma yogis who meditate upon Saguna Brahma are yuktatmas, the most exalted. The Akshara Brahma Upasakas are to be left out of this comparison. They are Jnanis who are not different from Bhagavan. Jnani tu Atmaiva me matam. They have reached the end of Karma Yogis. They have reached the end the Karma Yogis are striving for, so they are not eligible for this comparison. Only similars can be compared. It is legitimate to compare various ends but not the end with the means. Therefore, Krishna mentions only the Karma Yogis who are Saguna Brahma Upasakas as Yoga Vittamas. Deha Abhimana, identifying oneself, Atma as the body, is definitely not easy to give up. This superimposition of the body, which is Anatma, upon Atma is due to a failure to recognize the nature of Atma. Therefore, the clear recognition of the Swarupa of Atma, Pratyak Atma Siddhi, is very important in understanding the teaching. Unless the meaning of the word Tvam, you, in the sentence Tattvam Asi, that you are, is properly recognized, it is not possible to understand the meaning of this sentence. That here is the cause of the creation, which is equated in the sentence to you.
Here is the cause of the creation, which is equated in the sentence to you. That is, that is equal to that, and Tvam is equal to you. That actually, the Tvam Padartha we have discussed in the first 6 chapters. Actually, the whole thing. See, here he is trying to, now we are at the end of the 12th chapter, the Tat he is completing. So he is now recapturing Tvam and Tat both. Now the next 6 chapters are only equation. The equation, Asi part of it has to be discussed. But before that, we should be very clear what is Tat and what is Tvam. So that is what he is trying to do in this chapter. That is why he keeps on mentioning that. So, this basically what is the Pratyak Atma Siddhi is nothing but Tvam Padartha. Like You must know your reality is beyond this deha and mind. Deha, atma, buddhi. You must be able to see beyond your reality to be beyond this deha and mind. So, if you are already in that because of the karma yoga, then you are eligible to become a sannyasi or be a contemplative life. Like even if you don't become a sannyasi, still you can be a upasaka. Like dhyana, akshara brahma upasaka, you can become just to be a contemplative person. But what Bhagavan says here is that if your dehatma buddhi itself is not yet, you are not yet got rid of it, in the sense, Tvampadartha you have studied, you have understood, but still there is a gap between what your cognitive understanding is and how you live your life. If that gap is there, you are not eligible for upasana of Aksharam Brahma, Avyaktam Brahma and all that, what he has told in the first two verses, that is not possible. So what Arjuna is asking that, why can't I do that? No, you can't do that because you are not yet eligible. You are still, Deham and the mind is very much with you. That is why you say, how can I fight Drona and Bhishma Pitamaha, he says. Because he is looking at himself as Arjuna. That is why even in Vishwarupa he was scared. Because he looked at Vishwarupa as Arjuna. Actually Arjuna, once you see Vishwarupa properly, Arjuna does not exist. Because in Vishwarupa he is also included. Then why should we be afraid of? But he is afraid because he is excluding himself. So that is what Bhagavan is pointing it out. So from you have to understand, Pratyekatma you have to understand, and Tat Ishvara also, Ishvara Swarupa also you have to understand that it includes you, it is not separate from you. If both this understanding has to be in an advanced stage, and you must be able to do all whatever you are supposed to do wherever you are with the karma yoga buddhi, with all your ashtanga yoga in the sense niyama, dharana, pratyahara, all that you must be together yourself as a person. What is supposed to do in this situation, I will do without flinching. I will not say, I will not get angry or why should I do and all that I won't ask. Because this is to be done, I will do. That sort of alert living. If once you are eligible for that upasana of that yogi or you can be Akshara Brahma upasana, you can be living a contemplative life. As of now, it is not possible. That is what again and again he keeps telling in different ways he is telling. Yeah.
If you know
the essential nature of I, the equation will become evident. If not, the equation will not mean anything. When I say you are the Lord, the cause of creation, if the you is not properly recognized, the equation will be contradictory to your understanding of yourself based upon your experience. Because of Deha Abhimana, you consider yourself mortal, happy, unhappy, isolated, a product and not the author of everything. So by those who have this identification with the body, it is difficult to accomplish Dehavidvihi Dukkam Avapyate. With the Karma Yoga Buddhi, the mind is prepared for the recognition. Once Pratyekatma is at least recognized by one who is a devotee, the recognition of the Swarupa of Atma can follow. Introducing the next verse, Shankara says that later in this chapter, the behavior of the wise who know Akshara Brahma is going to be described. Now we turn our attention to the Karma Yogis who meditate.
The Karma Yogis who meditate upon and worship Ishvara. Ye tu sarvani karmani mahi sanyasya mattaraha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudhatta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chidat partha maya veshita chetasham. Two, however, those who matparaha, Santaha.
Santa means jnani, basically, yeah.
The ones for whom I am the ultimate end, sarvani karmani, all actions, mahi in me, sanyasya, giving up, ananyena eva yogena, with a commitment in which there is indeed no other, dhyayantaha mam, meditating upon me, mam upasate, worship me. Tesham, for those, mahi, in me, avaishita chetasam, whose minds are absorbed, aham, I, nachirat, before long, mrityu samsara sagarat, from the ocean of samsara, fraught with death, samudhatta, the liberator, bhavami, become partha, Arjuna. However, those who worship me, keeping me as the ultimate end, giving up all actions unto me, meditating upon me with a commitment in which there is indeed no other, for them whose minds are absorbed in me, Partha Arjuna, before long I become the liberator from the ocean of samsara that is fraught with death. 2. Whereas is to distinguish the karma yogis from the Akshara Brahma Upasaka. Ye mat paraha. Shankara explains as those for whom Ishvara, the Lord, is everything for them, the ultimate goal, like the master is for the servant. By fulfilling the Lord's mandates, they express their commitment to Him. Sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya, consigning all karmas to me, Parameshwara, they meditate upon me. There are two types of activities, religious and secular. Religious activities can be rituals or prayers that are enjoined by the Shruti called Shauta karmas or by Smriti called Smarta karmas. Then there are secular activities, Laukika karmas, daily duties that imply activities dealing with the world. When all these karmas are done, giving them up to Ishvara, Mahi Sanyasya, Laukika activities cease to be Laukika. Because he says, Mahi, in me, Sanyasya does not mean true renunciation of karmas by knowledge, but doing them with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi for the sake of Ishvara. How do we dedicate our action to Bhagavan? As we saw before, it is acting in accordance with Dharma and Adharma, right and wrong, not in accordance with Raga and Dvesha, likes and dislikes. As human beings, we are endowed with the faculty of choice. We can choose to act or not act in keeping with the commonly accepted norms. Those norms are not created by a human being. They are part of the creation. Therefore, conforming to them is seeing oneself as not separate from Ishvara. Dharma, like other natural laws, is not a visible mandate from Ishvara. For example, we do not see the law of gravitation, only its manifestation in a falling object. Similarly, we do not see dharma, but it is manifest in our natural urges like not wanting to be hurt. From that we understand that non-injury is dharma. This is why it is said that conscience is God. Conscience is nothing but dharma, and adharma manifest as our own common sense of appreciation of right and wrong. Conformity to that as Ishvara is worship. This has to be said because we also have likes and dislikes that need not conform to our sense of dharma. When they are made subordinate to dharma and adharma, we become karma yogis. Earlier, Bhagavan said, Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavahaha. Death in one's own dharma is better. The dharma of another is fraught with fear, and tayoho vasam na angachet. Do not come under their ragadeshvas spell. All these words reveal exactly what is being said here.
Actually, this also, this Swadharma, people always get confused. Swadharma meaning they think that immediately Kula Dharma. I should be, if I am a Saiva family, I have to be only worshipping only Shiva. If I am a Vaishnava family, I am supposed to do only Vaishnava worship. So all the rituals, all our temple priests or our own family priest, whatever he says, we have to do. Then only we are following Swadharma correctly. That is, generally Swadharma is interpreted that way. It is not what is described in the Gita. Swadharma here is very clear. He has made it very clear. What is Samanya Dharma, what is the matrix of Dharma and Adharma, based on that do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. At any situation, what is appropriate to the given situation is Swadharma. As long as you stick to that and do that, then Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha. Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha Paravadharma, in the sense, to live your, what is appropriate to a given situation, doing that living is better than, what do you call, in the sense, in order to get some glory and you go try to do something very extra, contradicting your Swadharma and all that, that is all Bhaya Bhavaha. In the sense, it may not really ultimately lead you to anywhere. Best is to, whatever station in life you are, whatever, wherever you are, whatever is appropriate to the given situation, doing that Swadharma is being grounded in Swadharma is always better than looking for something extraordinary and all that. That's what he is trying to say. People always mistake that Swadharma meaning Kula Dharma and what you call family Dharma, my own whatever, my house habits are there, customs are there, I have to stick to that, I won't go away from that. If somebody else comes and does something, I get jittery and all that. No. It's not that. In a given situation, because the world is changing in a big way. So, wherever you are, whatever is appropriate to the given situation without hurting the other person, you do whatever is needed and you can rest assured that is your Swadharma in that point in time. So, you must have a holistic view of Swadharma. That is very important. Rather than, that is why, but the way in which Gita explains yoga and the Ishvara and Dharma is very, very universal. We have to go by that rather than sectarian views about Ishvara worship and rituals and all that. Not, especially these days, we find lot of the sectarian approach is there towards Ishvara. In the sense, only rituals, the way in which it is stipulated, the way in which in my temple does, other temple does, if something is not there, you get educated. All those things, the ritualistic Dharma is not being talked about by Gita. It is talked about based on the universal Dharma, and Ishvara also is what you call very holistic, like what is applicable to everyone is being talked about as Ishvara. That is very important, we have to understand this. Yeah.
They meditate upon me and worship me. Why is it worship? Because they are mat paraha. Their commitment is to Ishvara, nothing else. He is the ultimate end, not the last end, but the end. These people want moksha for the sake of moksha and have ascertained that Ishvara is moksha swarupa. They know that they have to gain knowledge of Ishvara. That is their ultimate as well as their immediate end. If it is their only end, they will become sannyasis. If they realize they have to prepare themselves for that end by gaining antakarana shuddhi, they will become karma yogis. To neutralize raga dvesha, they live a life of karma yoga. But end and the pursuit of knowledge with that end in view are common to both. It was said earlier, yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam
tektva atma shuddhaye. We have studied this before.
Sangam tektva atma shuddhaye. The karma yogis perform action, giving up attachment to results for the purification of the mind. From this it is clear how important it is to have determination.
To have determined. Correctly. From this it's clear how important it is to determine what we are seeking. Yeah.
From this it is clear how important it is to have determined what we are seeking, Purushartha Nischaya. Everything that was said earlier about the fundamental problem continues to be relevant throughout these pages. In the 13th chapter, when the values leading to this knowledge are told, the last value, Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam, is also the first value. Everything is done keeping the end result moksha in view. Otherwise, this gets postponed because there are always things that require immediate attention. It is endless. Unless we really know what we want, moksha will wait while we attend to hundreds of different things. Thus, we focus our attention on our pursuit, the ultimate end. Those who have ascertained this are mat paraha. Their ultimate end is Ishvara, and everything becomes an aid, sahakari, to that. If someone is cooking, you may find him filling a vessel with water, cutting vegetables, clearing the counter, and so on. None of these actions is cooking, which consists of putting something on the fire. Yet they are included in the act of cooking because they are connected to the main action. Similarly, if the main end is decided, anything you do in your life is connected to that. It is like the life of a scientist. Once he is gripped with the problem, his mind is committed to that. He also eats, showers and does varieties of things, but the topic of his research is always in his mind. He does not turn his attention to it at one particular time. It is always there. So too, once you are committed to the pursuit of something, everything else gets connected to that. Here, all the activities of those who are matparaha become connected to moksha. In doing karma, they do not act according to raga dvesha, but in conformity with dharma, recognizing Ishvara as the law of karma. Whatever their activity may be, they never lose sight of their goal, moksha. Mam dhyayantaha upasate. The meditators meditate upon me, the Lord who is the cause of everything and who is the form of this entire world. The Lord who is the cause of everything and who is in the form of this entire world. Besides doing karma with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, they are meditating upon Saguna Brahma. How? With the commitment in which there is no other, Ananyena Yogena, meaning nothing other than Parameshwara. Other than the Vishwarupa, there is no other resting place, Alambana, for the mind. Because of their love for the Swarupa, they are able to do Karma Yoga. Their daily prayer and so on are also for effective dhyana. Since they are Karma Yogis, naturally Ishvara is in their mind. In their meditation, there is nothing other than Parameshwara. The vritti will keep on changing as thoughts do, but the Lord will be there in all of them. Even if he is invoked in a particular form, that too is Ishvara. For those who meditate in this form, dedicating all their karmas to me, committed to me alone as the end, there is nothing other than Lord. They are saved from the ocean of samsara, fraught with death. For such people, the Lord says, I become their deliverer.
Tesham aham samuddartha bhavami. What are they delivered from? From the ocean of samsara.
Samuddartha bhavami. Samuddartha bhavami meaning samyak uddhartha. Uddhartha is lifting. Samyak uddhartha bhavami. Bhagavan says, for them, tesham aham, for them I become somebody who delivers them from everything. Samuddartha bhavami. Yeah.
I become their deliverer. Tesham aham samuddartha bhavani. Bhavami. What are they delivered from? From ocean of samsara that is fraught with death. Mrityu samsara sagarat. This is a sagarat. This is sagarat. This is a
fourth case. Sorry, fifth case, yeah.
Mrityu samsara sagarat. This is a compound in which the middle world, yukta, is missing and is called a madhyama pada lopa samasa.
Which I have told before also. I have told this before also, yeah.
The complete compound is mrityu yukta samsara sagarat. From that ocean of samsara fraught with death, from that ocean of samsara fraught with death, Lord Krishna says, I am their savior. He is the one who is able to pull them out of this ocean by his grace. They are devotees after all, and through their prayerful life they gain antakarna shuddhi, a visible result, drishtapala. Besides that, there is the adrishtapala that will provide them with every opportunity to be exposed to upadesha, teaching. They earn their grace that provides them with everything necessary to know that Bhagavan's Atma is their own Atma. This is the equation, Tattvam Asi becomes clear. The meditation is upon Ishvara and all actions are dedicated to Ishvara as we saw. From those who are living such a committed life, the Lord is Samuddarta, the one who delivers. When Krishna uses Aham in the Gita, it is an Ishvara. It is as Ishvara, not the historical Krishna, son of Devaki. Whether he existed historically does not matter. We need only understand what he teaches here, that every form is Ishvara's form. When the Lord says that he is a savior, whom does he save and from what? These jivas who are devotees are saved by Ishvara from motion of samsara that is fraught with death. Samsara is a life of continuous becoming, a time-bound life. Why it is likened to an ocean, Shankara says because it is difficult to cross. An ocean is as vast and treacherous and so is samsara. To get out of it therefore is not easy. Unless ajnana, ignorance is removed, there is no possibility of crossing samsara. Though the elimination of ignorance cannot be accomplished by an attempt, though the elimination of ignorance cannot be accomplished by any attempt, an essential thing in its removal is preparedness that does require effort. Whether you want to remove ignorance of electronics or calculus, you have to reach a point from where you can understand the subject being taught. For that, you require proper effort and perseverance. There is no difficulty in gaining knowledge other than becoming prepared. That preparedness is given by Bhagavan. How?
As a result for this upasana, Ishvara will provide him with the capacity to apply his mind, and for this karma, he will gain antakarma shuddhi. Both are required and each enhances the other. The act of meditation produces certain tranquility with which one can appreciate better the loss of karma. That appreciation brings about further composure and changes in attitude that manifest as mature behavior and disposition. A mere technique cannot do this. It can only give him application. Even a criminal can be very single-minded. When he shoots someone, his concentration is excellent. It means he has application. Ravana had enormous application, but no karma yoga that makes one mature. Mere capacity for application or tranquility is not enough. Even someone who is incapable of thinking can be very tranquil. Mere capacity for application or tranquility is not enough. Someone who is incapable of thinking can be very tranquil. For this knowledge to work, you require the composure that accompanies maturity. It implies a lot of neutralization of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. When you live a life of karma yoga and also meditate upon Ishvara, there is an immediate result. Doing what is to be done, even the unpleasant, you enjoy freedom from conflict. Before doing what is unpleasant, there will be conflict because raga dvesha can be contrary to what is to be done. Being a karma yogi, you dismiss the raga dvesha and follow dharma. Thereby, you are free from further conflict. But when you act according to raga dvesha, there is a conflict before, after and during the action. There is drishtapala for both conformity and non-conformity with dharma. The drishtapala of meditation is certain composure and capacity to apply the mind. Because it is a prayer which is a karma, there is also an adhishtapala which is what we call Ishvara's grace. That is what brings about situations conducive for gaining this knowledge. How long will it take? Krishna says, Nachirat. Not after a long time. It all depends upon the person. There is no fixed timetable in this because you are already liberated. If something is to be produced, timetable can be given. If you are already free, it is a question of maturing and knowing. The word Nachirat, though it is not specific, says that it will not take long. When a person has karma yoga and upasana, what will stop him from knowing? Who are they again? Mayaveshita chetasam, those whose minds are absorbed in me, Parameshwara. These are people who are committed only to Parameshwara. Their mind gets absorbed in Parameshwara not only in meditation but also in daily activities. Thus, for them, I become the rescuer. To be rescued means to be free, mukta. Does it mean there is another way of becoming free? Moksha is possible only by knowledge.
Throughout the Gita, it has been said that freedom is by knowledge, jnanat moksha. Here it seems that by karma yoga and upasana there is moksha. It would mean there are two different paths, knowledge, jnanat moksha, and karma, karmanaha moksha, because upasana is also karma, a mental karma, manasam karma. This is where people commit mistakes. Whether it is mental, oral or physical action is action, and any karma implies an agent karta. This karta cannot be negated without jnana, and without the negation of karma there is no freedom. It is the sense of agency that is the cause of all problems. Who has Swarupa, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, it is the karta. When you say surrender to God, who is to surrender? And what can you surrender when everything belongs to Him? You can only give what you consider to be yours, even if you appreciate that what you have is given by Bhagavan. Even if you appreciate that what you have is given by Bhagavan. Who says this? At this level of karma yoga, the maximum you can give up is the sense of mine, mamata. But ahankara, the I notion, will remain. How will the conclusion I am a samsari go unless the ahankara goes? Ahankara is the one thing you cannot surrender because it is the one who surrenders. When someone says surrender your ego, who is addressed? Is it Satchit Ananda Atma or Ahankara? Satchit Ananda has no ego, nor can it be addressed because it is not an object. Ahankara is the ego. How can it surrender itself? That is why it does not work. People have been trying to surrender for ages. The Ahankara cannot surrender. You can do anything, but as long as there is ignorance and you look upon Ishvara as someone separable from you, separate from you, there is no surrender. It is fine to have devotion. Lord Krishna himself says the karma yogis who are worshipping him are yoga vittamaha. No doubt they are mature, but still ahankara remains. Therefore,
so that is that why is so elaborate. One is a karma yogi, the other is the upasana yogi, the other person is a jnani. So, but the central theme is jnanat moksha. So, whether he is a karma yogi or whether he is a upasana yogi, in the sense, he, at the exclusion of everything else, he is meditating upon Bhagavan. And even for that, it is very difficult because at least in the case of karma yogi, he will have a field where his anger, likes and dislikes, abhilasha and all can be expressed. And by doing karma yoga when he is in the family or in the office and all that, you will find that for no reason sometimes you get angry and all that. So you will have a field wherein your internal raga dvesha will get expressed. So you will recognize. So you can try and okay, now I say I am getting angry unnecessarily. I should not. My value is not for getting angry, but still I get angry because of some whatever be the reason. But I should get over it. There is a field wherein you can practice karma yoga and get over it. Whereas a person who is sitting in upasana, he will not have any field where he will not know what is the internal pratibandhaka. So it is more difficult for him. But in both the cases, whether it is a upasana, upasaka or a karma yogi, unless he understands that the reality of his self is Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinnam Atma, the being, the changeless. Unless one understands that by jnanam, both karma yogi and upasana yogi will find it difficult. That is what he is trying to do. Because the ahankara remains, because the identification with the person remains. Even though bodily he may try to do a lot of tapas, a lot of upasana, a lot of virada and all that. But still who is doing the virada? Ahankara is doing the virada. It will try to appropriate even the glory of a upasaka. I am a Vidya Upasakar, I am this Upasakar, that Upasakar. Who is going to say? The Ahankara will say. So, the Ahankara will get glorified with all the Upasana and Karma Yoga, whatever you are doing. So, for that, simultaneously, You have to pursue jnanam. You must understand the reality. The deha vadbihi, deha atma buddhi, and ego has to go. For that, knowledge has to be pursued. There is no choice in that. That is what he is trying to say now. Yeah.
Therefore, moksha is possible only by knowledge, jnana teva, not by karma or anything else. You are already non-separate from Ishvara, and recognition of that fact is freedom, moksha. If that is not moksha, there is no moksha, because if you are not limitless right now, there is no possibility of becoming limitless. There is a Tamil proverb that says, if your thumb develops a whitlow, it will not swell to the size of a pumpkin. It can swell to the size of a lemon perhaps. Similarly, let the ahankara amass any amount of grace.
Yeah, that's what he is referring to. Yeah.
Swamiji explains beautifully in English. Similarly, it can swell to the size of a lemon perhaps.
Actually, I don't know whether you have seen Naha Chitti and all, when they come, they literally, some people put the lemon on that actually, and so that it will become alright, the septic will go or whatever it is. So typically it looks like a lemon only.
Similarly, let the ahankara amass any amount of grace or experience, any kind of beatitude, it is going to be only the ahankara's beatitude, not ananda, limitlessness. If you are bound by nature, isolated from everything, you are bound forever. However, isolation is really not possible if you think about it. Anything that is physical belongs to the physical world, and anything subtle to the subtle world. How can you extract one physical body from the physical world while remaining in the physical world and say that it is separate from the physical world? It is something like a branch of a tree saying it is independent of the tree. No physical object can claim independence from the physical world. What is physical belongs to the physical world. Isolation is not possible at any level. All you have to do is understand that there is only one thing, and you are that one thing. It is already accomplished. To be free, you have to only to shake the ignorance and know jnana teva moksha. Jnana teva moksha. When the Lord says that He is the liberator, tesham aham samuddatta, He means that He gives the knowledge that liberates. Here again, we must understand what it means. There are some people who want to be taught directly by Bhagavan, not by any mortal. This is a problem in understanding the nature of the teaching and the teacher. Ishvara's grace is nothing but providing opportunities for teaching. Once you have the proper attitude, you require only an opportunity to be told that you are Brahman. You are Brahman. When you are no longer in the hands of Raga Dvesha, you have Antakarna Shuddhi, the result of Karma Yoga, and as a result of Upasana, you have the capacity to apply yourself. Then all you require is teaching. The teaching also will be given by Bhagavan through Sruti. Once you are ready, you will have your teacher. That automatically comes next. It has to work that way. Then when these qualifications are there, what is thought becomes real. What was previously a vague idea or a possibility or even some insight gains increasing clarity as you live a life of karma yoga or upasana while pursuing knowledge. Thereby Bhagavan says, I am their liberator from the ocean of samsara that is fraught with death. Mrityu samsara sagarat tesham aham samuddarta bhavami. Through knowledge, jnana pradhanena. This is not a savior that saves you from the original sin and takes you to heaven and keeps you there. Without jnana, there cannot be any moksha.
Yeah, I think we'll stop here. Okay. So now it is fairly clearly explained that one is a karma yogi, another is a upasana yogi, another is a contemplative person who is a jnani. So the upasana person cannot try to compare himself with the jnani, even though he is also doing upasana, but he has already got the understanding. And he has got a lifestyle also where he has got the discipline yoga yukta tamaha, so he is able to do that. And here, even whether you are a upasana yogi or a karma yogi, still you have got a lot of pratibandhakas, still you have got the dehatma buddhi, you are still not away from your ego. Even though your appreciation is to get liberation, still neither jnanam is complete nor yoga is complete, because still you are a dehatma buddhi is there. So by living a life of karma yoga or upasana yoga, you have to get over relatively the Dehatma Buddhi and still sit with the teacher, understand, and then you become a Jnani, that is also a yogi. So at this stage, he is telling Arjuna that you cannot compare yourself with them. You can't say that I will become a Jnani. By will you cannot become, by understanding, and by living a life of Karma Yoga only you can become a Jnani. That's what he is trying to tell till now. We'll continue.
Actually, now we thought since Arjuna Pavam, Krishna Pavam, Arjuna is telling, no, I feel Arjuna's Pavam, Krishna is answering all of his questions. He said, no, I'm going to be sannyasi. Now only Krishna is coming to the topic, third question that he asked.
That's very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult to...
See, it is simple, but it is not simplistic. That is what we have to do. It is simple, but for that you have to make a lot of clearances. Swamiji used to say, a lot of clearance, a lot of baggage you have come with. All those have to be cleared. The sense cleared in the sense in the what do you call it, when your infrastructure, mental infrastructure, you must be able to give them, just keep them away for the time being. And for that also you need a certain discipline and pursue, and thereafter also you deal with them. Okay, what is appropriate without, you don't have to throw them away. You have to deal with them appropriate. At the same time, you have that clarity in your understanding. It's very, in the sense, that is why, the Padma Patra, Vambasa, all those things, Urvarikam, Vandana, Nrityor, Mukshiyam, Amrita, all those things are there. Very important. Even though you are there in the society, you will still be like a Urvarikam. In the sense, people may Jadaval Lokam Achare. In the sense, they may not, Jnani or he will not look very different. He will be looking like any other human being. But he will also behave very empathetically, very sympathetically when he is moving in the society. At the same time, internally he will be very clear that he does not have any issues. He will be Purnam, happy and all that. But at the same time he will be empathizing with others, sympathizing with others, do what is appropriate to the given situation. To get to that state in life, you need both yoga, understanding, upasana, everything has to be in its own place. None of them can be belittled. In this upasana is required, karma yoga is required, jnanam also is required. All those must have their own place. That's what he is trying to say.